Oh, hey. All right, we've got now the thing's clicked over to say that we've got Josh watching via YouTube and things. Oh, right. I was going to pull up the ah. So I was just watching a bit of a Stardust stream on Yes, Nigel, on YouTube for a bit before this. And so hopefully um I wasn't hoping to snipe anybody out from there, but just, like the usual thing, like, oh, hey, I'm gonna watch for a bit and, like actually, like participate in chat and stuff and, see if anything happens. And obviously, I watch Stardust every once in a while, and so I figure, gotta play the streamer game, right? And like yesterday, for some reason, like Nigel was like, I mentioned a couple nights ago that my cat Nigel, in addition to having asthma and he's got his inhaler on the way, I've got the tracking number from Chewy. So I've got the tracking number from Chewy about Nigel's inhaler. Yes, love? But yeah, for like most of this week, he's been complaining at me. You heard him. You probably heard him. Probably heard him. Nigel, come here. Nigel, bud. Kiddo. Oh? Is that it? Is it just you just playful? Well, why didn't you tell me before the stream? Now he has to wait until after stream. Silly cats, right? He should have made me figure it out before the stream. But does he know? He expects me to just read his mind. But yeah, like yesterday, he was like reducing his complaints were at like a minimum that they've been at for the week. And today he's just been complaining at me. And I guess at least part of it is he wants to play. But of course, I don't figure it out until I don't figure it out until I've logged onto the stream and I'm just like, Cat, come on. I've got at least 2 hours before I feel all right with um um turning off the stream and going to do stuff like make their dinner. So, so yeah, it looks like Stardust. I was hoping that like I was kind of planning tonight to pick up where I left off on on the uh on the first the the, the first Milena doc that she dropped back around October, November. So so the Poppy and Xena Abusive Hypocrites Part 1 Google Doc. I was gonna pick up from where I left off on that back in January because I left off on back in January sometime before sometime around the time that Milena decided to do what she's now referring on Twitter to, or I think I saw part of this on the. There was also like a reference to. All right, gonna turn on the screen share thing with the thing and the stuff, and please tell me this is the one I want. I swear to God. All right, I'll just. Okay, no. Let's see this one. Okay. Okay, share this tab. All right. And now, of course, we got to go back to the Restream tab and actually turn that one on because Restream's got to be Restream, right? And I'm going to do it this way because that's the way I like it set up. So, yeah, I was looking through this earlier. Oh, wait, no, I think it was the other one. Yes, Nigel? Oh yeah, so like this deep cover period that's around when Melina hid the or like at least turned the Google Doc on private or something. So and I was like and so like when I left off on reading it, which would be switch tabs, kind of left off on reading that. I want to say yes. I want to say it was like right here, like maybe about like halfway through day 3 on this. But it's like reading from this. I think she's a bit further down. Like I want to say she's about here about on the dock tonight. So I don't want to step on. Yeah, I want to like offer some variety, right? That's why different streamers do different things. That's why people tune into different streamers. Like even when the same general topic tends to be talked about by, two different streamers, right? It's like each person has a different take, and you know, um, at least at a at least at the smaller audience sizes, people tend to be a little bit like, you know, um, just like, like at a certain when you've got a certain audience size, you can like stream about damn near anything and not care about what other people are doing. But when it's when you're at a smaller size, especially that. Yes, do you have opinions on this? Well, honey, I don't want to step on toes. No. Oh. 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 Really? Oh. Well, I guess I could end the stream and just play with you tonight, my kitty. He's a sweet boy. He's a sweet, beautiful little boy. He's also a big boy. He is, I know I've described Nigel before. He is, at least as far as like his size goes. So like, yes. So like shoulder to rump, he'd say about Nigel. Nigel, bud, jump up on the bed. Yay. Oh, for fuck's sake. Well, Nigel, I want he's a large cat. He's like a lean 17 pounds. So Josh, I've only watched this stream and the Kill Dog stream on this. Oh, that's fair. I I honestly didn't even realize that other people were streaming about it. Um, like, I knew shit hit the fan on Twitter, but then I saw, Malcolm, I think formerly Brother Malcolm, now, Goddammit Malcolm on YouTube, and this was like it was like, um, his was like a recommended, um um, upload section, or maybe he was doing it live when it was recommended on my YouTube homepage, um, at the time. So, um, hey Phoebe, hey Nigel. Ah, um, still though, I was just in the chat on Stardust stream. So if anybody wants to like follow me over here, because I was um saying a little bit about the one time I met Poppy and Xena at the club, and how they were kind of bitchy. But it's the club. I didn't think anything of it at the time. Shit like that, and like they were, but yeah, and of course, like what I do know about like the general area where they live and how it's got like double the median household income of where I live. So yeah, like oh, there's a chance somebody could like follow me over here if there's a lull or something, and that would be nice. So yeah, I don't want to get into too much of the same stuff tonight. So uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yes, Nigel? Uh-oh. Is it Nigel crazy time? Is it Nigel crazy time? Hello, my love. Hello, my sweet boy. Uh, I wish there was a way to like switch to like a back-facing camera on my laptop right now, because you know what? Okay. Here's Nigel at my vanity table right now. My gorgeous little boy. He's a big boy too. But look at that. Look at that little paw he just like lays over the front of the bench. He's a gorgeous boy. And he knows he is too. He knows it's beautiful, and he knows that's how he gets away with everything. You are. You are my love. Oh, he is. He's a pretty boy. He is just a gorgeous cat, and I love him so much. The hell did this thing like not do the thing? Okay. But yeah, I'm kind of I thought about changing the thumbnail for tonight's stream. Um cuz like last night I just did like, duplicate event to schedule for tonight after I ended last night. And I thought earlier today, like, do I want to change the thumbnail, or do I just really love rubbing in how Poppy basically told on herself on the Liana Kersner podcast, um, that her friend and editor Penelope told her it was SA. Like, no, honey, that's the name you use. Like, she credits her editor as Astro Prince. Well, she could have just did that, if she wanted to put it on the editor, but no, no, she had to tell on herself by using one of the names she uses. So that's fun. That's a fun fact. So yeah, like I don't know, like part of me is just like I admit it's kind of petty. I admit it's a petty thing. I'm a petty old queen, and it's just funny. It's just funny to me that she literally told on herself on a podcast, and it's just too funny. It's just too funny not to, you know, not to use it at least one more time, as in tonight. I think I'll change the thumbnail for tomorrow night. Unless I end up going out to the club tomorrow night, in which case it'll be Tuesday night. But so yeah, while we see if anybody else wants to wander in, I am um the thing I'm working on right now. I've actually like got a couple different crochet projects going, and this one is the first panel for a set of curtains for the bedroom. Please don't ask me why I decided to start doing curtains. Um, Part of it was I don't know, I have a whole lot of the size 20 thread, and I well the way that the so I got the cats a so I got the cats one of those little window seats, for the window, but it's you see the blinds touch all the way to the edge of the windowsill. So the window seat for the cats kind of gets in the way. And um so I figure, just to um retain some sense of privacy when while also letting the cats have their window seat, might as well just keep the vertical blinds basically open all the time, and then but have curtains there in their place, just to be the shading for the windows. So as to why I decided to make crochet mesh lace curtains instead of just either buying curtains or something. I don't know. I had all the size 20 thread left over from I bought way more than I needed for a blouse that I made for my niece for her 7th birthday, I believe, or was it 8th? One of them. And so yeah, I had a bunch of leftover size 20 thread, and I figure why the hell not? I've got a pattern for the mesh lace curtains. So, all right, we've got at least 4 viewers right now, all from YouTube. That's fun. Feel free to hit like, subscribe, tell your friends, join the fun. You're probably going to hear at least one of my cats at me all week for probably a number of reasons. Tonight it's because he wants to play while I've scheduled a live stream. Um, he's also an absolutely gorgeous cat, aren't you, Nigel? Hello, my sweet boy. Phoebe are also going on 12 years old, and Nigel's got an inhaler that's due in the mail very, very soon. I placed the order for it on Chewy last night after I got a little bit of money that I didn't expect to get, and so I got him an inhaler because he's got his asthma and is just such a pretty boy. So that's fun. I'm gonna have to get my asthmatic 11-year-old cat used to an inhaler. He's had asthma pretty much his whole life, but it's when when we were in the tent, it did seem to get a little bit worse due to the weather because it was still the middle of January. Well, no, it was like, yeah, it was like December, first week of January was when it was set on fire, and we had to take refuge in an extended stay America, where, in spite of her threats to call the police on me, um, they never showed up. And trust me, they that the especially after the fire, the Ann Arbor police do know who I am. Well, they definitely know who I am because well, back in July, my meds were stolen out of my tent, and I've got a number of meds that are classified as controlled substances. So if somebody's caught selling out of one of my pill vials that still has my name on it, I'd be implicated in illegal drug sales. So, I had to file a police report on that. I do not have the privilege of saying F the police. Like, do you have any idea how insane that makes me sound to some people? I don't have the privilege to say F the police, because so yeah, on the good side, the fact that I was willing to report my meds stolen, just I don't know, that just like looked pretty good to them, I guess. And so yeah, like they know who I am. The night of the fire, I I called them as well, in no small part because um I don't know, just there's a bit of a story I don't want to get into right now, but basically they do have a way of finding out who it was, and if they are ever able to um, um, get a hold of that person, charges will be brought. So that's a thing. And considering that, and the fact that I am literally the let's let me let me pull up something real quick on one of these other tabs I got open. Okay. Okay, we're gonna now to be fair, when going with an unusual name, um, I knew that people were going to ask about it. And technically, um, this is seriously? Every so often, I wonder how the hell I'm stealth as a trans guy when I'm 4 foot 11. I do not, I I am okay with the fact that I four. Um, So I assume people figure it out, but yeah, uh, and so that's how I keep ending up like really what the hell? How am I stealth? Because apparently people just kind of assume a lot of the time that I'm AMAB for some reason, and please. Seriously, the site is down? Alright, is this running the same? Because it's based on, so it's based on US Census data, and how can it work? This doesn't work anymore. Apparently this article isn't working either. Well, that's fun. Okay, but, um, the last time I checked howmanyofme.com, back when it still worked apparently, um, there's, like, fewer than a couple hundred people in the United States in general, like, in the entire United States, and fewer than a dozen in Michigan, um, with the first name Ruan. So wait, seriously? It stopped sharing the screen? God damn it. Alright, Restream's being Restream again tonight. Um, so yeah, I don't know how much of that anybody saw, but, basically, like, howmanyofme.com does not seem to be working anymore, and, um, and all the, um and an alternate site I found out that was allegedly having the same software on it, but last time I checked howmanyofme.com, for just, like, people with the same first name as me, which is Ruan, Ruadhan. It's Irish Gaelic. So yeah, in all of the United States, there's fewer than I think 300 the last time I checked howmanyofme.com. And in Michigan alone, so like just the state of Michigan where I live, there's fewer than a dozen with the first name Ruan. So so yeah, if somebody from Livingston County is calling the police in Washtenaw County for whatever reason to make some kind of stupid report on somebody with my first name, it's probably me. You know, like so yeah, like I said, the local cops are aware of me because I'm genuinely I was genuinely one of the homeless people in the area, back when I still was, who does not want any trouble. And yet, like I said, like I was getting robbed every, about once a week on average. One time it was 5 times in a week. But that's I don't like to think about that. Um And back in July, my medications were stolen. Not even all of my medications, and they left some weird stuff too. Like they left stuff that I know has street value. They left my gabapentin. They took the ibuprofen. They took my androgel, which I guess reading the bottle, you can tell this is testosterone. They think maybe there's some value for it at the gym. I'm also pretty sure I know who the hell stole a bunch of my meds and a bunch of other stuff that night or that day because I came back at night. Um, and if it is the person who I think it was, then they were probably selling it to another trans person, but whatever. Anyway, like if you're thinking like broad, street value, androgel is like if you're looking to sell people stuff at the gym, androgel is the last one you want to sell, right? Like the concentration of testosterone in androgel, it's nothing. It'll do it'll do like f all to as a performance enhancer. Um, so they took my St. John's wort, my vitamin D capsules, which, both of those, there was a Kroger, like, grocery store, like, right next to the site where you can, if you have to. I do not necessarily endorse doing so, but if you have to, you could just go to that Kroger and pocket a bottle of St. John's wort or vitamin D capsules if you have to. I'm not saying you should, but but they took those. They took those, and like I said, they left my gabapentin. They took my ibuprofen. They took my androgel, which got like no value. Um, they took the atomoxetine, aka Strattera, which was like the non-stimulant ADHD meds, which as a non-stimulant, it's got almost no street value, but my guess is like maybe they looked at the name of, because it's generic, so they probably looked at the name, didn't recognize it, and because they don't recognize it, that must mean it's worth something to somebody. I don't know. I there's substance abuse and mental illness running on both sides of my family, so I grew, and my older half sister from my dad's side, she had schizoaffective disorder, and so like I kind of grew up, and she's 7 years older than me, so I kind of grew up like learning to innately decipher schizo logic, like legit schizo logic. So and schizophrenic logic is not too far removed from substance abuse logic. I'll put it that way. It's these are very related, or at least they are two forms of atypical logic that share a lot more in common than they don't, right? So yeah, like I said, I had to report my meds stolen when that happened, and just on the principle, I reported my tent was set on fire when it was, including the fact that like most of my t-shirts were in there, t-shirts I literally cannot replace. A lot of my underwear was. I Oh, that's right. That's what I need to go pick up tomorrow at Target too, cuz rotating the same 6 pair, doing laundry every 5 days just so that you're not having to rewear a pair or go commando downstairs to the laundry room. That's a thing I would like to do, is like have some more socks and skivvies to, in my rotation. Just like do laundry once a week rather than twice a week. Um, but yeah, we see how anyway, we see how well Poppy's threats went ahead with, because her allegations have zero merit because as we discovered last night and the night before that and the night before that, because because like since part 2 of Milena's doc dropped, what was it, like last week or something? I've just been kind of reveling in the fact that, like now the internet knows that that Poppy loves making shit up about me. Ah, ah. I actually haven't read this full doc yet, but and I do intend, like I said, if not tomorrow night, then definitely Tuesday night to pick up where I left off with part 1 of the Google Doc. But let me just read a bit of my section in part 2 of Poppy and Xena Abusive Hypocrites. So okay, there's these screens from this blog. Hold on. Let me go up to the top of this. Will this send me will this give me the will this give me the content? Like the chapter breaks or something? Or wait. Guys? What's up, Phoebe? Phoebe. Hey, sweetie. Hello, Miss Lady. What you crying about in the front room? Leon. Hello, little lady cat. I know. You're such a cutie. Arr, come here. Come here, come here, come here. Really? Oh, okay. Okay. So, note about the people mentioned in this doc. Keep in mind that this is a very difficult situation with a lot of traumatized and neurodivergent people involved. This conflict has resulted, self included, because ADHD, it is a neurodivergence. This conflict has resulted in a community that many have found safety in being torn apart. Please do not harass or otherwise contact anyone mentioned in this document unless they themselves specifically say they want to discuss their perspective. And I've obviously been like, just a bit open enough about, the stuff I do know about and have a perspective on. So, and I'm streaming about it right now. So, if you have any questions that I can answer, I will to the best of my ability. I'm not at liberty to share everything I know, but as I've said many times before, um, Poppy and I are fairly local to each other. They're depending on the current traffic conditions, between a 15 to 35 minute drive from my city to hers. And, like the same applies to the cities where each of us have a P.O. box. Mine is in Ann Arbor, and Poppy's P.O. box, as we've seen on 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 Zane and Poppy's YouTube channel, wherein they have. Huh? Pause. Go. Please stay paused. Knowledge of Gee, I wonder how I know that Jess and Xena have a PO box in Hamburg, Michigan. I wonder how I know that. Can anybody tell me how I know that? It just seems so odd. Clearly, elite hacksaw. Elite hacksaw knowledge. Oh, wait, this isn't the, wait. Okay, part 2. But, oh, we've got 5 people watching right now, 1 on Twitch, 4 on YouTube. Feel free to hit the like, subscribe, all of that happy horse shit, and maybe donate to my Ko-Fi, wherein I need to get a bunch of bookshelves so that I can continue and eventually finish unpacking all of my shit that was in storage for almost a year and a half. ko-fi.com/Ruan, which, if you speak Irish, it's spelled like it sounds. If you don't speak Irish, well, you'll need some help with spelling that. Okay, so yeah, where did we leave off? All right, yeah, do not harass. Bah, 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 bah. Also, remember, a lot of them have changed their stance on Zane and Poppy since these screenshots were taken. Um, Specifically, while we were aware of Sage's involvement in these situations and the posts that she's made online, are deliberately keeping her inclusion minimal. She has emphatically expressed wanting everyone to leave her alone, so we won't be including any of her or her headmate Cerese's longer posts, even though they offer plenty to comment on. We ask that everyone else respect her wishes too. She'll undoubtedly see this as disingenuous or infantilizing or whatever, but we can at least do our best to respect her wishes. Um, I'm I'm not quite sure what Melina means by this because I know Gayfish has been said something a little snarky about Sage a few days ago. Granted, this doc dropped like last week, something like that. Okay. Subject of this doc is who follows. Poppy's concern, parasocial behavior. Care. Okay, continued thoughts. Documents Oh, okay, that was released a little bit earlier than I thought. I thought it was released like September, October, but I guess um that was out in August. Now there's who the hell wrote that goddamn okay. I think somebody said okay. Wait. Find on page. To co-opt a phrase their friend Annie uses, you'll see into a place where it actually applies. The cruelty is the points. Okay. Also, it should be noted that Liana didn't debunk it. She read it. Liana Kurzner. Okay, you know what? All right. This is I'm already confusing myself. Let's go back to the beginning with this. Okay. For legal purposes, everything in this doc should be considered allegation. While we're providing enough evidence for most of it to make what we consider a compelling argument, um, P and Z may have additional context to provide, and I encourage you to hear them out. Which brings me to something that so I started writing something in a blog post on my Ko-Fi earlier about because I do want to address a couple of their videos at least, but I want to do it in a more scripted form to to make it clear that this is a transformative um commentary that I'd be adding. And so here I go into like defining poisoning the well with Nizkor link. Um, yeah, so where because because again, like we see here, Melina says, Melina explicitly says, P and Z may have additional context to provide, and I encourage you to hear them out. Now, this is the thing, isn't it? Um, because like what many of us who've been watching this or even tangentially involved as am I, when we hear them out, and we do, we notice that they constantly contradict themselves, will just straight up lie, and we've come to this conclusion because we are hearing them out. And, like when you juxtapose what they say alongside some pretty thorough documentation of other things that they have said and done, it becomes pretty damn clear that, no, you are applying critical thinking when you conclude that Poppy and Xena are liars. Again, don't just take my word for it. But this seems to be the opinion of damn near everybody I know who is not only familiar with Melina's docs, but as in documents, but who have also been willing for so long to hear them out, as hear out Poppy and Xena's side. It's just like when they do, like they will contradict themselves in the same sentence sometimes. It's it's almost impressive. Um, so yeah, like there's their most recent video with the full title "Transphobes, So-Called Leftists, KF, Drama Mongers, and Coordinated Harassment Campaigns." At about 3 minutes 30 seconds, Poppy, the left just seems to have better ideas. They do not enact those ideas, nor do they use them in their life. So there's no real point to engage with them. Now this is copy and pasted from the so like when you go to YouTube videos, um I can note on this a bit more now. Okay, so oh, Gino Samuel's streaming. That's fun. So yeah, like you can click show transcript and it'll bring you up here to this thing. And so yeah, like this is what I copied. Obviously not this video here. So I went to their, like I said, their most recent video, and I went to the transcript and I just went like zoop zoop to copy and paste exactly what they said into my Ko-Fi, blog slash, response video script that I'm writing up, so that, you cannot say that I'm misrepresenting their words. No, I took Poppy's words exactly as she said them, exactly as the YouTube auto, transcription AI spit it out, and it does line up with what she actually said. The YouTube auto transcription is actually like pretty decent. Anyway, so my commentary. This is Poppy deflecting the solid criticisms levied against her, and to a somewhat lesser extent, Xena's deplorable behaviors towards others, with a tactic known as poisoning the well. To quote Nizcore Project, and full disclosure, Nizcore Project is, oh gosh, this website has been around forever. Nizcore Pro Shush phone. Nizcore has been around. It started up. Um. 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 um okay. Let's. Oh yeah. That it says right here. Now I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Just. So Nizcore Project began. Let's see. This site is intended for educational purposes to teach about the Holocaust and to combat hatred. Any statements or excerpts found on this site are for educational purposes only. So, Nizcore Project um, began as a, obviously this is, like I said, this is an old site, 1991, right? This began to this began by somebody who was arguing with Holocaust deniers on Usenet. So, um, so yeah, please tell me that that the website that began to to that began as a means of Holocaust education by the guy who was arguing with Holocaust deniers on Usenet. Go ahead, tell me this is pseudo leftist or something. Just try. Just do it. Just do it. Do it. Poppy's demonstrated all over, Twitter that she's about as left wing as Brianna Wu at this point, but whatever. So anyway, to quote Nizcore Project, you know what? Let's just quote Nizcore a little bit more directly up here for poisoning the well. This sort of reasoning, in dick quotes, involves trying to discredit what a person might later claim by presenting unfavorable information, be it true or false, about the person. This argument has the following form. 1. Unfavorable information, be it true or false, about person A is presented. 2. Therefore, any claims person A makes of reasoning is obviously fallacious. The person making such an attack is hoping that the unfavorable information will bias listeners against the person in question, and hence that they will reject any claims he might make. However, merely presenting unfavorable information about a person, even if it is true, hardly counts as evidence against the claims he or she might make. This is especially clear when poisoning the well is looked at as a form of ad hominem in which the attack is made prior to the person even making the claim or claims. The following example clearly shows that this sort of reasoning is quite poor. Before class, Bill, boy, that professor is a real jerk. I think he is some sort of Eurocentric fascist. Jill, yeah. During class, Professor Jones. And so we see that there was never any golden age of matriarchy in 1895 in America. After class, Bill, see what I mean? Jill, yeah, there must have been a golden age of matriarchy since that jerk said there wasn't. Examples of poisoning the well. 1. Don't listen to him. He's a scoundrel. 2. Before turning the floor over to my opponent, I ask you to remember that those who oppose my plans do not have the best wishes of the university at heart. 3. You are told prior to meeting him. Oh, dang it. As you see, feel free to pause if you're watching this later. This is all what I just read. This is all what I just read. This is all what I just read. So, 3, you are told, prior to meeting him, that your friend's boyfriend is a decadent wastrel. When you meet him, everything you hear him say is tainted. So, back to my Ko-Fi blog draft that is probably going to end up as a commentary script. Anyway, so I don't quote the entire page, obviously. Poppy and Zaina have built the last 4 years or so of their social media career by attaching themselves to left-wing politics and progressive ideals, and they have given themselves a bit of an edge via their origin story as Vaush orbiters. The two also typically appear on camera sporting an aesthetic that generally appeals to an audience who is younger and more impressionable than they are, by dropping allegations that their critics somehow don't live up to the left wing ideals we endorse, going full no true Scotsman in the title of this uploaded segment, and adding to the allegation of their victims and critics somehow sociopolitically, and somehow adding to the and somehow adding to it the allegation of their victims and critics being somehow um, sociopolitically ungenuine, that their victims aren't worth listening to, they're using manipulative framing and established fallacious reasoning to basically tell their dwindling audience to shut off any urge to apply critical thinking skills. Perhaps ironically, this is the exact kind of reasoning used by Donald Trump, Map Walsh, J.K. Rowling, and other conservative and anti-trans figures who demand uncritical support from their audiences. Poppy's point is thus clear. Just shut off your brains and accept everything I say. If you question me in any way, even if you just listen to and examine what the other side is saying, you are with them and you are now also my enemy. This is part of how Poppy and Xena run Darvo on their audience: deflect, attack, reverse victims and offenders. Poisoning the well and no true Scotsman are fallacies that deflect any arguments and criticisms made against the party who employs these tactics, no matter how factual, much less valid, the allegations made against one. If Poppy were to genuinely, in good faith, encourage her audience to use the critical thinking skills that she often claims to encourage, she'd have no issues engaging with the allegations, and she'd have a fairly easy time countering the allegations with her own evidence. Instead, every time she brings her own evidence, such as her expanded director's cut screenshot of the DMs with Gayfish, it actually makes her look worse. And everything else she's publicly or has at least leaked or has at least been leaked from her Discord server comes down to, just trust me, kids, the owls are not what they seem. Oh god, I hate myself for quoting David Lynch. Actually, I don't know if he wrote that, but it was a Twin Peaks quote, and uh to be fair, Twin Peaks is one of the reasons I kind of allow David Lynch to live, but in the hypothetical timeline where I have the power to decide who lives and who dies. God damn it, why am I getting... I swear to God, I haven't even looked at Grinder today, and I'm already getting Grinder, like, shit. Like, what the hell? If somebody local to me is watching this and is on Grinder, and if that's why I'm getting... Oh, okay, it's somebody that... Okay, it's just a tap, whatever. At least it's not a dick pic. Okay. So yeah, like I said, like when like when I went to go Milena literally says in at the beginning of this document, Poppy and Zena may have additional context to provide, and I encourage you to hear them out. Whereas in contrast, we switch back to this tab where we see that I have quoted Poppy from about from like just under 4 minutes into um into her most recent video, or her and Xena's most recent video, that that her critics do not enact on those leftist ideas, nor do they use them in their life. So there's just no real point to engage with them, as in her critics. So Poppy is basically telling her audience, don't engage with the allegations. Don't hear out their side. Just don't. Just listen to me, kid. Just listen to me. Just trust me. Just listen to me. Don't listen to them. It's not worth listening to them. Just listen to me. That's what Poppy said, not even a full 4 minutes into the latest Poppy and Xena video that, was uploaded. In contrast, Milena literally says at the beginning, at an approximate, at an approximately similar point, at the beginning of part 2 of the Abusive Hypocrites doc, Poppy and Xena may have additional context to provide, and I encourage you to hear them out. Now, I may be just I may be just like a humble little cat servant in Ypsilanti, Michigan. But it sounds to me like Poppy is not actually encouraging the critical thinking of her audience that she claims to. This is a this is one of the many ways that Poppy contradicts herself, in my opinion. Because, when you're saying that it's just not worth engaging your critics, if it's just not worth engaging your critics, and you say this like, to your already dwindling audience, and many of whom are far more are like at least half your age, very vulnerable, like emotionally vulnerable people who have become emotionally dependent on your Discord server in some really weird ways. And you are telling them that your critics' arguments aren't, that anything your critics have to say about, about their experiences with you isn't even worth engaging. Whereas your staunchest critic in all of this is literally saying that she encourages her audience to hear out your side, as in Poppy's side. Yeah, that sounds to me like Poppy's the one who does not encourage critical thinking. Like that just does not sound like something that somebody who does endorse critical thinking would say to their audience. Who they allegedly encourage to become critical thinkers. Anyway, let us continue. God. All right, I'm brain farting. I think I recognize what show this, because I've seen this, meme image before. And I can't remember for the life of me what show that's from. But anyway, after all, their MO, modus operandi, has been to try to justify their actions in a way that doesn't actually justify what we've seen at all. Most of the time, they somehow end up making themselves look even worse in the process. That's up to them. Don't worry, it gets worse. This is a motto that we've wryly adopted within our group. It's a bit of gallows humor that we use to remind new people and ourselves to calm down as they/we learn new things. Don't worry, because if you let yourself get too caught up in it, you're going to have trouble continuing as it gets worse. Consider this a reiteration of the CW above, content warning above. Don't feel obligated to marathon this info. Take breaks as you need. Um, we've got extensive headers you can jump to via the outline on the left. Oh, okay. I guess I got to zoom out a little bit. At least, oh, I got to zoom out. Wait, really? All right. Where'd it go? Okay. I'll figure it out. Okay. This is a document full of upsetting information. Please remember to be mindful of your own needs while navigating it. A note about the people mentioned in this doc. Keep in mind that this is a very difficult situation with a lot of traumatized and neurodivergent people involved. Uh, all right, read this part. Please do not harass. Blah, blah, blah. Thing about Sage that I already read before I went back up. I don't know what she would have us do other than stop talking about this at all, and we'll do that when Poppy does. So for now, here we are. Ah, fun times. Okay, what is this doc? First and foremost, damn it. All right, I'm sitting up and a little bit away from the crochet work, so of course I gotta zoom in a bit more because I'm half blind. First and foremost, hi, my name is Melina, and I wrote this doc. Hi, my name is Ruan, and I am reading this doc. Okay, if I seem a bit spicier than you, remember, it's because I've gone through some things, and I'm coming out with a few less fucks to give about civility. Me, I've just been through one heck of a life, to put it lightly, and I just have fewer and fewer fucks to give as as the years go on. Um, in fact, I have just enough fucks to give so as to, I don't know, like not end up on a list so that that will make my life even worse, right? And that just sounded so weird, especially given the context that we're in. Anyway, I said like months ago anyway, that's like, like just because like people's ages become relevant in, the unending drama of the Poppycule. But yeah, as I said once back in January, I was once at the same nightclub where I once met Poppy. Not the same night, but the same club where I once met her circa 2019-ish, I believe. Maybe later in 2021. I'm not sure. All I know is that it was out on the smoking patio, and so people in Stardust stream in the chat anyway, asking me if she smelled or if she and Xena smelled. I'm just like, look, it was like 2019-ish, maybe late 2021. I don't know. I don't have the best sense of time, including the passage of years. But anyway, and it was the smoking patio. They were sitting down on the bench seating there, and like in my opinion, everybody on the smoking patio just kind of smells by default. But at the same time, my dad smoked 6 packs of unfiltered Chesterfields a day, and yet it was a brain aneurysm that killed him. But that's another story for another time. Anyway, I am well aware of the fact that that cigarette smoke and even vape pen juice will do much to mask the job of to mask the odor of too many skipped showers. Um, so yeah, all I know is that like in about 2 out of 3 Xena and Poppy videos I've seen, Xena never looks like they know how to wash their hair properly. But that's another story for and and judging by how fast the color runs out of Xena's own, or not Xena's, Poppy's hair, Poppy washes her hair too often, which you only need to wash your hair once or twice a week. You okay, Nigel? Sorry, asthmatic cat having another attack. You okay, baby boy? Okay. Okay. Oh, there you go. There you go, baby. I, oh, 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 don't fool me like that. Okay. Hey, you. Okay. Don't worry. Your inhaler's due like Wednesday. Probably Thursday, just because of how the FedEx works with my P.O. box. Anyway. Yes? Oh, there we go. Don't worry. Inhaler's due soon. Very soon, my sweet little boy. Okay. Okay, Melena's given a few fucks about civility, and oh yeah, I said something about how like I give just enough fucks to not end up on a list. But yeah. Anyway, same club. Um, I think I told this story again last night, but I'll tell it again just because it's so goddamn funny to me. Because I'm at the club and I'm chatting with this guy and he's kind of cute, and I start chatting with him because I notice he's wearing a Manic Street Preachers t-shirt, and I'm a little bit older than Poppy, so of course, like Manic Street Preachers were like the band. Oh god, now I'm brain farting. Were they from Cardiff or from Newport? They're originally Welsh, and but anyway, just wonderful fucking band. And and so I start chatting with the guy, and then I notice like a few minutes into the conversation, he's got two big like Sharpie made X's on the back of each hand. And I ask him, straight edge or and he's like, "Oh no, I'm 19." And I'm like, "Oh, I just feel like a dirty old chicken hawk now." "Oh no, it's cool, it's just a number." I'm like, "Okay, look, that's yes, that is technically true, and just because it's legal doesn't mean it's not creepy." Like, like 16 is legal in this state, and there's a lot of convoluted reasons. I know that, but just because 16 is legal in this state does not mean it's not also creepy when somebody my age is with somebody 16, and like 19 is legal in every state. But again, just because it's legal doesn't mean it's not also creepy. But I digress. Anyway, now I was thinking more like a no-fly list or something, because on, but I think I was just like in my own head for a second, because I once wrote a Che Guevara Fidel Castro erotic fanfic. And so, like, friends of mine and I joked about how, like, this has now got me banned for life from Cuba. Not necessarily because it's gay, but because Fidel was the bottom. So, yeah, like, that's, like, where my mind went when I made a comment about how I give just enough fucks to not end up on some kind of list. And then, thought went, oh, right, because Poppy is creepy towards people less than half her age. And, of course, like me giving the story about like, you know, awkwardly flirting with somebody I then shortly after found out was like only 19, and I am in my 40s. And um and then just then I'm explaining like what kind of list I was thinking. Okay, let's continue. Okay, Melena gives few fucks about civility. Rumors of my betrayal have been greatly exaggerated, but this isn't the place for that. I'll speak more about it on my Tumblr. For now, I just want to say that I'm sorry to everyone who's been hurt and felt betrayed by the public front that I've had to keep up while doing deep cover for the past 2 months. I promise you, it hasn't been fun or easy. Hopefully, excuse me. The contents of this doc will help dispel any doubts people have rightfully had about me. Da, 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 da. Um, it's the kind of doc I've been wanting to write for months now. This isn't just about her bad treatment of an individual, it's about her treatment of many individuals, with three specific big ones mentioned. The subjects of this doc are as follows: 1. A brief introduction to Poppy and Xena, wholesome degenerates. Noah Flake, who, an ex who allegedly R worded Poppy. I'm gonna change that to violated. It just like, rolls off my tongue a lot easier, okay? So I'll in place of R word, I'm gonna say violated because like it's like one fewer syllables and I'm old fashioned and stuff. And um a lot of my earlier videos, and especially when I'm uploading, have a stronger mid-Atlantic accent, because I the 20s and 30s is just like kind of my favorite period for like a lot of stuff. Obviously not world politics, but um though uh that was the you know period where my grandparents grew up, and I was really close to those grandparents when I was a kid. um Yeah, that's how I'll justify it to myself. Plus, I just like really love the Art Deco era and silent films. So, but anyway, Dormiu, a teenage trans critter from the UK who trusted Poppy and Xena for an in-person support, and instead had Poppy expose herself to it non-consensually twice, and was then mocked for it. Poppy's concerning parasocial behavior. 5. Spawn, Poppy and Xena's 23-year-old adult kid who published testimony and evidence of Poppy and Xena's abuse at home. This doc wouldn't exist if it weren't for the help of many people, especially through um, this harrowing and isolating time. It was specifically prepared um, as a companion and reference guide for Luxander's stream, which we'll link here afterwards. So even the content here is as compressed and TLDR'd as possible. There's a lot more that we have to fill the gaps. There's a lot more that we have to fill the gaps, and we may release. There's a lot more that that we have to fill the gaps, and we may release more depending on how things go. But mainly, we suggest watching Alexander go over it and discuss it. Otherwise, this centralizes these stories and allegations into a place where people can review them more easily and understand the problematic behavior that Poppy is so intensely committed to continuing. As you read this document, keep an eye out for standard Poppy Zena manipulation practices. This is this includes projection, assigned intent, uh, uncharitable interpretations, and bad faith speculations about unknowns being framed as truth. Um, Assigning intent is just like something that highly um, triggers a trauma response in me because that's one of the things my dad often used to fuck with my head. But okay, as you read this doc, okay, uh, and bad faith speculations about unknowns being framed as truth. Who is Poppy and why should we care? If you're new to this subject, Poppy's channel started out as Trans Girl Therapist, or TGT for short, but was changed to Xena and Poppy Wholesome Degenerates because Xena saw Poppy getting attention and felt left out. So rather than actually working on developing a personality or education, they bully and abuse anyone who leaves them out of anything under the excuse of how much it hurts them. This becomes especially bizarre when Xena seems to get upset about being left out of abuse allegations. Yes, really. I don't know. It's weird. Um yeah, and, uh, 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 yeah, speaking of, like, rather than actually working on developing a personality or education, god damn, the reason that everybody leaves Xena these, out of the discourse is because, 1, Xena is barely on social media. As I showed yesterday, Xena has obviously not even, like, been as active on Ravelry in the last year or so as I have, and, um, and Ravelry is, like, one of those sites that's, like, I go there to, like, browse through patterns. Occasionally, I'll post a question to one of the group forums I'm in, but I don't think I've done that as often as I'm on, like, r/crochet on Reddit. Um, and, like, I've barely loaded anything into my stash or I barely, like, cataloged anything in my stash or any of the pattern books in my own personal library. Um, I, um, I can't really say, at the current time that I barely use Twitter, just just because, like, this last year or so, even before all the Poppy and Xena drama started up, Twitter turned to, like, became, like, kind of like an extension of, because well, when my whole personal homeless arc started, um, I I took I kind of got it. Well, first off, like, that being in that situation, you lose a lot of friends really fast, and I I understand why. Like, it makes a lot of people really uncomfortable. So, and of course, after you get housing again, everybody's just like, "Oh, hey, I hear you're doing so much better now." And I'm like, "Yeah, I would have been doing a little bit better emotionally if you hadn't abandoned me, but, I'm old enough that I see the point in being polite every so often, so I've learned to hold my tongue about about some of my spicier opinions about my friends, just because I'm like, yeah, I understand, even though, like, I'm like, wow, I could have used, like, an empathetic ear, over the last year. But anyway, so I went to a lot of streamers. I started watching a lot of streamers. Um Demon Mama was, like, the first streamer I like, and it's like I'd watch Demon Mama's streams every once in a while, even before that, like, going back as, like, 2020 and 21, right? But, and I started watching, Zine and Poppy again, like, back when the channel was still called Trans Girl Therapist, around, like, 2020, um, and stuff, but yeah, like, so yeah, like, I was watching streamers already, like, around 2020, just for the same reason a lot of people started watching streamers around 2020. Um, but, uh but yeah, I got really into watching streams um, when I moved into when the cats and I moved into the tent, um, because that was the only people who didn't judge me, like, even in just the chat, that was the only people who didn't seem to, judge me, or, y you know, or just, right, so, so yeah, like, as an extension of, like, watching streamers more, than I had previously done so, I started using Twitter a bit more than I previously did, just because, well, that's how a lot of people who, not only the streamers themselves, but a lot of the people who are more active in the chat while streams are going on, like, they're on Twitter a lot. Um, and, um and yeah, I do use Blue Sky a bit more than a lot of people, who initially started using it, but, yeah, like, Xena barely uses Blue Sky either. I've seen people say that Xena is pretty active on Blue Sky, and I'm like, yeah, compared to how active on Twitter they are, it's like, but it's like Xena's not really active on Blue Sky either. Like, Xena's just not that active on social media, which is fair. Which is fair. Like, you don't have to be like this, I guess, social media butterfly or whatever when, even if you are an active member, an active presenter on the channel, on the streams with with their partner Poppy, right? But aside from the fact that Xena's barely on social media, even, not counting Discord, of course, and that specific Discord server, uh, Xena is barely active on the stream. Xena's barely active on the channel as well, like in the stream and the uploads. Xena just kind of like sits there doing whatever knitting and crochet work and just going, uh-huh, yup, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Like a bump on a log that somehow evolved a larynx, but still has the personality of a bump on a log. Let's Xena do 95% of the talking in any given stream, sometimes as much as 99% of the talking in any given stream or upload or whatever. And then has the nerve and then Xena there has the nerve to be surprised that everybody ignores the fact that they're technically part of the show. I mean, I'm sorry, like, don't sit there and just like say, "Oh, well, if you're doing crochet to keep your hands busy, like, you can't, you gotta like focus on that rather than on what's being said on the stream." Really? You're gonna tell me that? Who's been sitting here, like, reading a page on the screen while doing, like, I mean, okay, this is not the most intricate lace work, but I'm still like this is taking care of my ADHD need to fidget and have something to do with my hands, but I'm still able to talk. I'm still able to read a page aloud to the audience. Like, yeah, I started streaming, oh god, I wanna say, like, 2018-ish, 20 oh god, maybe 20 oh wait, no, yeah, it was 2018-ish because it was not too long after Worst X and I ended. But so I started doing my live streams, just, like, doing jigsaw puzzles, mostly in silence on my kitchen table. And I've since, like, said to people that, like, my inspiration for that was, like, stuff like Andy Warhol's, like, early experimental slice of life kind of films like Sleep, which is just like an 8.5 hour film of a friend of his sleeping, right? So that's how I started live streaming, was just like, doing jigsaw puzzles on Sunday nights on my kitchen table, which I do intend to start doing that again. But one, I want to get one of those like gooseneck um phone holders so that, like, I mean, so that I'll stream it that way and like you can see like more of the, me actually doing the jigsaw puzzle rather than just like seeing, me from about here up working on the jigsaw puzzle, and like not really seeing the puzzle itself, right? And two, I need to finish unpacking before I can get back around, before I can get back to doing my jigsaw puzzles. I need to finish unpacking. Ergo, I need bookshelves. Ergo, please donate, um, cash or a manual typewriter to me for your only hope for a future. Anyway, like, you can do stuff and be a part of the stream. You can do stuff and be a part of the conversation your partner is having on the stream or in the video upload. You don't have to just sit there like a bump on a log, nodding along, having zero personality. Like, if you can't crochet and participate in the discussion, you're doing ADHD wrong. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it that way. If you can't do crochet and participate in a conversation, you're doing your ADHD wrong. Right, Nigel? Nigel agrees. Anyway, okay, yes, really, I don't know, it's weird. So anyway, yeah, like, Xena's somehow, like, all hurt and confused that people leave them out of the conversation, and it can't have anything to do with the fact that Xena leaves themself out of the conversation all the freaking time. Anyway, Poppy is a licensed therapist who parades around her credentials to speak as an authority on mental health, including BPD, borderline personality disorder, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. She says that DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, the most widely accepted toolkit for managing BPD, also the most widely accepted treatment for PTSD, um, doesn't work for her, countering instead with the fact that she undergoes EMDR for treatment, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy, even though it's meant to treat PTSD, not BPD. Um, yeah, EMDR, um, is one of the things that's offered for PTSD, but yeah, like DBT is also like I said, it is one of the most widely accepted things for CPTSD, which is what I've got, which is complex PTSD, which is usually from like long term. It CPTSD is complex PTSD, typically related to like long term abusive relationships, such as um, you know child abuse at the hands of one's um, parent or other legal guardians, um, long term domestic abuse, or intimate partner abuse. So and I've had some very strong opinions that I voiced over the last couple of nights about BPD and its relationship to CPTSD. But yeah, EMDR, um, that I know that's offered um for certain types of PTSD traumas. Like a lot of times, like people from like war zones and stuff. But okay, even though it's not meant to treat borderline personality disorder. The channel and the connected Discord community, currently called The Foundation, are framed as a safe space for neurodivergent people, especially those who are queer and or live with BPD, plural systems, and PTSD. It is not, and Poppy and Xena are far from safe people. Continued thoughts. Instead of working to separate their initial reactions and feelings from their perception of situations, they fight to make their vision of the events that transpired match the emotions they feel about them. They also feel that their aggressive, antagonistic, and frequently downright cruel behavior is justified as long as they feel personally wronged enough. Hello, Phoebe. Some of you may immediately recognize that as the textbook mindset that abusers take. Yeah, I hit her, but she made me that angry, so technically I didn't do anything wrong. Oh gosh. I just. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I haven't actually, like, read much from this, and I've only, um, and, um and when I have seen it streamed, it's I don't know, like, some people have, like, skipped around a bunch. Hold on, hold on, hold on, because this is kind of, like, goes back to, like, what I've been saying about Poppy when I constantly reference HG Tutor videos. Tuning into one of my streams, HG Tutor, uh, and I got into him after, yes, I also watched stuff about Chris Chan. I mentioned last night that, the origin of this claim that I'll sometimes still occasionally still see on Twitter that, like, Poppy and or Xena and or Sage Phoebe, please don't step on the keyboard. Hello, I know I love you too. Everybody loves Phoebe. They especially love her butt. Everybody loves to look at the cat's butt. Come here. Phoebe, what you doing? Come here. All right, don't then. Um, but yeah, like as best as so it's like I'll still occasionally see somebody, from the Poppycule, accuse me of having looked up Street View of the address, trying to find Poppy's home address on Google. And okay, first off, I use Bing Maps because why? I like the on sites where I can set a default language to something besides English, and Welsh is one of those options. I will set it to Welsh. I like the dialect of Welsh that that what that Microsoft, including Bing, uses a little bit better than I like the dialect used on Google for their default Welsh option. Secondly, the only time before last night that I looked up a street view of something through the maps back in January when Poppy accused me of trying to dox her home because, I pay attention to the world around me, and I noticed that Poppy and Xena have a P.O. box in Hamburg Township, Michigan. No, not Hamburg, Hamburg Township. Trust me, it's based on the zip code. And it just I can get into the convoluted stuff about Michigan zip codes and the local area that, I mean, Poppy lives I live in Washtenaw County, Michigan. Poppy lives in Livingston County, Michigan, just over the county line from Washtenaw. Um, depending on the estimates given by the traffic satellites connected to Bing Maps, Google Maps, and Bing is based on Google Maps, and I think they use some of the same satellites, some of the same traffic satellites anyway. Even if you're as old as me and you still use MapQuest for some reason, the estimated driving directions from my PO box in Ann Arbor, Michigan, also Washtenaw County, which is just like and Ann Arbor's like the next city over from Ypsilanti, where I'm at, to Poppy's PO box in Hamburg Township, Michigan, it is between 15 and 35 minute drive. Um, but yeah, also in January, when I was not streaming about Poppy, when I was not talking about Poppy on streams, like even before I officially took a hiatus from talking about Poppy on stream until something else happened that was worthy of my attention, um, I would occasionally talk about other things. One time, even before I started talking about Poppy on stream, I spent the first hour of my stream tuning my Kruth, which is it's a kind of a Welsh harp. Hold on, it's right in my closet, and I still need to replace a couple of strings that I got, but hold on. Seriously, we're doing this light? So, for the first hour of one of my streams back in January, I spent a good hour tuning my Kruth. Um, as I said, it's a kind of a Welsh. It's a type of Welsh harp known as a bowed lyre. It's a type of harp known as a bowed lyre, and this is one that originates to that is associated with Welsh folk music. I spent the first hour of a stream tuning this, which is was when I decided that I needed a new string for one of them. Anyway, I do a lot of stuff on stream. That's my point. Is like it is a bit of a variety show. Oh, back around 2020, the default title for my streams on Friday nights, I believe, was also known as Songs and Legends, where I would be singing or otherwise performing music and telling little stories, right? So anyway, I got talking about this because back in January, one of the times I was not talking about Poppy, I was telling the story about how I once met Chris Chan. When, back about 20 years ago, 20 years ago this summer, it was it was in July, of 2004, I met Chris Chan before the Something Awful forum found out about Chris Chan. And I wish I had some pictures because I swear, Chris was very excited to show some of the gutter punks with like blue and green hair that I hung out with. That Chris, he at the time had made a fanny pack out of Lego. So yeah, I pulled up a street view of the downtown mall in Charlottesville, Virginia. And as I explained last night, unless Poppy and her acolytes are now saying that that Poppy has anything in common with Chris Chan aside from being trans, that would be news to me. And I feel really bad for them if that's the case. Because you can go to the stream in question where I was allegedly trying to find Poppy's house on Street View on the maps. It's like, no, you go to the stream in January when I was looking at the Street View map of, on the Bing Maps. It was of the downtown mall in Charlottesville, Virginia. Which, okay, I'm sure there are some passing similarities between, some of the pictures of the Charlottesville downtown mall and some little, downtown parts of some of these little rinky-dink towns in Michigan. Yes, hon? Some of these little rinky-dink towns in central and southeast Michigan that, try to have this whole little Victorian, this little Victorian downtown ish vibe. But that's nothing more than a passing similarity of some buildings in an historic downtown area of certain cities of a certain size and age. It's very clearly the downtown mall in Charlottesville, Virginia, not anywhere in Michigan. Especially if you actually watch the stream and listen to what I'm saying and look at the actual photos that I'm looking at, right? But yeah, it's funny. But anyway, I got to this because of what Milena said in here about how yeah, I hit her, but she made me angry, so I technically didn't do anything wrong, just as an example. And that reminded me of an HD Tutor video that I watched earlier this evening. I want to say, I don't know, I want to say this was around 8:30 or something. I watched this. And now HD Tutor, I got into him around 2018, 2019 after Worst X. Now the one I refer to as Worst X, has a narcissistic personality disorder, with strong antisocial tendencies, according to a sibling of his. He grew up Mormon, so he has like a dozen siblings, and I am not joking. Like, I think he said he's literally like one of 10. So, so like almost a dozen siblings. Definitely closer to a dozen siblings than I have. And I grew up Catholic. And we've all seen that part of Monty Python and the Meaning of Life. Every time Catholics have sex,
Person ensnared by the victim do not like the word. One word for those who have encountered our kind mean a person harmed, injured, or killed as a result of a crime, accident, or other. There is no denying that this would apply to someone who has been ensnared by us. Equally applicable. After all, it is the very essence of our behavior that we consciously or consciously trick or dupe you.
restream. Okay. Oh, of course. Okay. Hold on. I'm just coming back to the restream page and I'm noticing that people are saying stuff. And that's part 1. Okay, part 2, share. Oh my god, why are there now 3 frames for this? Okay, hold on. Okay. Okay, coming back. Okay, I'm looking at chat. We've got 6 viewers, 5 via YouTube, 1 via Twitch. Feel free to hit like, subscribe, all of that happy horse shit. And Josh Kiss, yeah, you mean Poppy talks like 99% of the time. What does plural people mean? Plural it is that's a very broad term. So there's actually that one video I played the other day from that I played a chapter or two from the other day. The um 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 the um the guy neurotransmissions. Hold on. So he does a what the hell? All right, if my browser doesn't stop acting, have to end the stream a bit earlier than I had hoped to tonight because my browser is acting stupid. Okay, so he does this really good video um that he's definitely simp towards people with dissociative identity disorder, and so like that's what most people talk about, like plural people or plural systems of like one body, etc. So a lot of people think dissociative identity disorder, but he okay, I'm gonna post his video into the chat so you can all go like take a look at that when you've got time, or even if you want to go watch him right now and come back to me. I guess that would be nice. But yeah, when he defines like dissociative identity disorder, he in one of the later, like in the later third of this, or maybe no, it's in the first third of this video. He says that because it's a disorder, um if um um, um, if you are part of um like an indigenous culture that accepts that accepts the concept of like certain people having um several different personality experiences, or you know uh, several several experiences of like personhood within one body. That's not DID, but it would also count as somebody being a plural system within one body, right? So yeah, like I said, he's definitely on the sympathetic side, right? And I think my thoughts on on the whole DID, because it is like, even within the mental health profession, it's still a very controversial diagnosis. But there's definitely something going on when people who are diagnosed with dissociative at least many people with a genuine going on. It's just he's of the opinion that it might be better treated as, or better diagnosed as a subtype of PTSD or CPTSD, a dissociative identity type, right? Or maybe some people with it would be better served as, as it being a subtype of BPD, which again, I've had many strong opinions voiced over the last few nights about borderline personality disorder and how it is a nasty history, just as a diagnosis, that it's often used to just like dismiss PTSD and especially CPTSD in AFAB persons, and to just like cast them aside as untreatable crazy people who may also have depression and anxiety. So just like keep them all but sedated with meds so that their family doesn't have to deal with them because they've got a personality disorder that just makes them crazy. So like other than doping them up for the depression and anxiety. So yeah, like I'm not saying that BPD isn't a useful, um, I'm not saying that it's like completely useless in a sense. I'm saying it's got a very loaded, messy history as a diagnosis, and that in most, and that I also do see the sense in the hypothesis put forth by H.G. Tudor, who I also reference a lot because, as I said, my his specialty topic on YouTube um, is narcissism and narcissists. Particularly as in people who you know are established to or likely would qualify for a diagnosis of NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. And his hypothesis is that, shush phone, is that, there are two types of people diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. The first type are misdiagnosed cases of PTSD or CPTSD. And these are the people who have been given that diagnosis and who benefit from dialectical behavioral therapy, and um, and then there are the other type of people who get a BPD diagnosis, which he says are just straight up especially difficult narcissists. And seeing the way Poppy's been conducting herself and like making a donkey out of herself on the internet this last few months, you know, I I I really do think he's onto something because at least I've been very familiar with the first part of his hypothesis since the live journal days of social media. So well over 15 years, I've known that there are people even in the mental health profession who are you know um, who are skeptical of the way that BPD has been diagnosed. It's a very gendered diagnosis, overwhelmingly in women and AFAB persons, and um, and how when you offer people with BPD the same treatment that you offer those who have been diagnosed with CPTSD or just PTSD, um, because, well, like those CPTSD patients, the borderline patients have the same behavioral symptoms. They have similar traumatic pasts. It's almost like this is just a way to dismiss CPTSD in women and AFAB persons, and has been for the last few generations, isn't it? Um, Now one thing that I hadn't been that familiar with is the way that, HD Tutor, also says that you can break up the borderline diagnoses into two types, and the second type would be the especially difficult, mid-range narcissists. And like when I think back on, like a lot of the other people I know who got saddled with a BPD diagnosis, for whatever reason, um, especially there's a friend of a friend of mine whose ex-wife was diagnosed borderline, and she is I can definitely see, like, because a lot of people have accused the friend of a friend's ex-wife, um, of being a narcissist. If I say too much, I'm gonna I'm gonna be accused of name dropping, but yeah, like a lot of people have accused her of being a narcissist, and she'll just respond, "Oh no, it's just my BPD." And it's like I'd been familiar with you know with the with the crossover of you know people like kind of like on the like especially you know women and AFAB persons who come off as narcissists, but they have a BPD diagnosis, which just kind of makes me think like maybe some mental health professionals just don't want to diagnose women and AFAB persons as narcissists because, oh no, that's a male thing. And likewise, they don't usually, diagnose men and AMAB persons with borderline because, oh no, that's a lady thing, right? So like I can also see why some trans women like Poppy may feel especially attached to the BPD diagnosis because it's oddly gender confirming in a really fucked up kind of way. Kate Bornstein is another trans woman who loves to throw around her BPD diagnosis for anybody willing or unwilling to listen long enough. And um I can definitely see her as the narcissist type as well. Like Kate Bornstein is also like a former member of Sea Org, which like back when Elron was still around, like she was like before she transitioned, she was one of Elron's little like charismatic manservants, and you don't end up in Sea Org by accident. Like this is somebody who was fully willing to like thump the cult doctrine, and you have to be very charismatic to do that. And honestly, like only mid-range and upper narcissists are that charismatic. Yes, Nigel? Or at least people with like, strong enough narcissistic personality traits anyway are that charismatic. So, um, but yeah, like, um, Kate Bornstein and I have a history. I went onto it a little bit, I think, maybe earlier this week, but like there's a number of reasons I think Kate Bornstein, or at least I have suspected for a while anyway, that Kate Bornstein might be, more of a narcissist than borderline, but um that's the thing. So like I said, before the HD tutor video, I hadn't really been familiar with a unestablished hypothesis that some people saddled with the borderline diagnosis might just be narcissists, but they're women and people don't want to believe women can be narcissists. But I've seen enough. I definitely seen enough evidence of that in my own personal life with some of the people I've interacted with that it makes sense to me, right? But anyway, I continue. So yeah. Um some of you may immediately recognize that as the textbook mindset that abusers. Okay. Instead of working to separate their initial reactions and feelings from their perception of situations, they, Xena and Poppy, fight to make their vision of the events that transpired match the emotions they feel about them. They also feel um, that their aggressive, antagonistic, and frequently downright cruel behavior is justified as long as they feel personally wronged enough. Some of you may immediately recognize that as the textbook mindset that abusers take. Yeah, I hit her, but she made me so angry, so technically, I didn't do anything wrong. Oh, that's right. I should link that HG tutor video because I'm gonna link the HG tutor video that I watched earlier this evening for anybody who wants to go watch it afterward or right now. Hello, Nigel. Hi. I don't know if you can hear him make his little complainy sounds. He's my sweet little boy. All right, and link Copy and go back to the Restream tab. Yes, Nigel? And the paste right after the other one that I just linked. Yes? What? I love you. Oh, it's also hair dye night tonight, so yeah, I'm not gonna go any later than 2 at the absolute latest tonight. Like 2 a.m. US Eastern time, so I got about an hour before that. Uh, about an hour and 15, whatever. Um, 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 um. Okay, their approach towards conflict is full of double standards, invalidation, and an almost impressive aversion to any de escalation that doesn't include the complete surrender and submission of their opponents to their reality. Again, this wow, the way Melina phrases this, it really reminds me of the HD Tutor video that I watched earlier today. And it's not a recent video of his either. I think it's from a few years ago, but I watched it earlier tonight. Okay, to co-opt a phrase of that their friend Annie uses, "you'll see," into a place where it actually applies, the cruelty is the point. The public side of all this started when Poppy and Zaina dumped me in one of the most triggering demolitions of safety that wow, that I've ever experienced, and that's saying something, and then weeks later decided to stream their grossly warped and inaccurate perception of our conflict to their 9,000 plus subscribers, including all of my former friends within the foundation, instead of discussing our conflict with me. This is a pattern. Poppy uses her channel and platform to process her feelings through her audience. This is parasocial, no matter what Poppy says it is or uses to justify it. She will try to come up with reasons why she's an exception or how the word parasocial doesn't apply to her situation. This is a good example of how she'll twist reality and definitions to fit her emotions of or perception of what she's allowed to do. I decided to post my side of the story in this document's predecessor last August. Oh, I should have had my row counter um stopwatch going through most of this. Oh well. I mean, I know from experience that after the first one I complete, the second one goes a little bit faster, but the ones that I make my for myself are off. I often take photos as, for like samples if somebody wants to commission me to make one, just like it for them. Um, okay. This document is not as in-depth or narrativized as that one for the sake of covering more ground. Further details about Snowflake and Spawn's situations can be found in their respective documents, also made by me and my friends, which will be linked in their corresponding sections. Since I published that document, I've spoken with over 24 people who have told me how deeply Poppy and Xena have harmed them. For some of them, it was their first time feeling safe enough to talk about it outside of personal friends. This includes 10 ex-partners slash playmates and several more prospective ones who saw the red flags and bailed before they got too deep. Jesus shit. This includes former members of the server who felt bullied by Poppy and Xena's oddly mean brand of humor up until some kind of shockingly aggressive outburst from one of them that made them feel unsafe there. This includes former friends of years who tried to figure out ways to help steer um, her in healthier directions for months, if not years, until they just couldn't do it anymore. Or Poppy finally got angry enough with a respective or with a response of theirs to burn the bridge. This includes their kid. Yes, I know how crazy that sounds, but hopefully, as you read, you'll understand why we felt so compelled to make contact as we learned more about their abuse and realized how weird their story about their kid running away sounded. These can be framed as simple disagreements, but when people are framing themselves as a safe space for abuse survivors, it feels extremely relevant and important to understand what those people see as abuse, especially in their actions or in their own actions. They tried to frame me as some jilted ex for ages, but for me, the friends who fight alongside me, or for me and the friends who fight alongside me, it's about protecting people. It has always been and continues to be about protecting people, which is exactly why I wanted to address this, back in January, just before I even saw Melina's document, her first one. This has been about, like, I know that Zane and Poppy, again, as I've said a number of times, live just over the line between Washtenaw and Livingston County. They're in Livingston County, Michigan. I'm in Washtenaw. I am also closer to Detroit than all the ways that they drop references to the Metro Detroit region in their streams. Not only in terms of mileage, but by drive time. If that somehow does not make much sense to you, trust me, the highways, the Michigan highway system is very convoluted and incredibly congested in some of the weirdest ways. But anyway, and with that, let's get started. Chapter Not Patterns of Behavior. So basically the prep, yeah, introduction now preface. Before we get into the meat of the past few months, let's TLDR some comment. Poppy, relationships, and boundaries. And I'm adding the dick quotes in my inflection with that because yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, I remember parts of this from other people having read it on their own streams. This is me reading it with my own commentary. All right. This is a conversation that Poppy had with a potential playmate last October. Excuse me. And I'm gonna put down my crochet, and when I get to the Discord screens to do my little hand puppets like I did back in January when I was doing this. When I do some more unpacking, and after I get the new headboard for my bed, hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully the guy on Facebook Marketplace that's not the one I want. Hopefully the guy on Facebook Marketplace is willing to agree to come drive it out here to me. If not, hopefully it will fit on the bus. I mean, I do have a couple of bungee cords that I found that I can wrap around the four pieces of it. So hopefully I can if he can't drive it out here to me tomorrow or Monday or Tuesday, then hopefully I can bring it back on the bus for me. I was looking at the pictures again and it looked just about the right size for that kind of thing. But after I get the headboard set up, I can get some of my own goddamn plush animals to use rather than the hand puppets. Okay. Because why? Because that I don't have I don't have like the little apps and plugins. Like I can't get Streamlabs to behave on my laptop. I may have to upgrade it to Windows 11, but that's a whole other thing right now. But I can do hand puppets, and I can use my, mini squishables as puppets. All right. This is a conversation that Poppy had with a potential playmate last October. While I'm including the whole conversation to include the full context for those interested, the parts relevant to this particular point are in the red boxes below. The whole conversation. Okay, so um Poppy's gonna be on the left of the screen. Yeah, that should be how it works out. My right hand would be yeah, left of the screen on the streamer end. Um because left Latin sinister, right? Um the anonymized person in the with the purple sensor dick. I'm sorry, like look at this. Look at this. This is a sensor dick. There's the balls, there's the shaft. These are penises. We're drawing penises to censor out people's names. I'm sorry, that's what we're doing. That's what we've always done. All right. All right. So we've got Poppy on this hand, censor dick on this hand. All right. Also, we should probably talk about the playmate stuff. It went well. There were a lot of nice individuals there. I knew the stereotypes about Kingsters already, but there was way more talk about board games and RPGs than I expected, which was fun. I also met a friend who I only knew online there. I knew it would I knew it would attend. Oh, okay, yeah, personal pronoun it. Its FetLife account name was the same as its Discord account, and I saw it RSVPing to the event, and I was like, OMG! So I messaged them and was like, so is this you? Do we live near each other? And it was way more down to earth and friendly and nerdy than I expected. It was fun. Do um um Popsy pop the blocked message. Do you want to do that now? I'd be down. Uh, that's cool. My general experience with Kingsters has been hit or miss. Uh, can't be because nobody in the local Michigan area likes you anymore, huh? Uh, a lot of them are just nerds and super fun people to talk to, but occasionally get some really like 24/7 types that are really creepy. Uh-huh. I tend to stay away from the larger community because I don't really want to play with them. No, they don't want to play with you. They don't want to play with you. I've talked with enough of them. They don't want to play with you. I look for partners who I can play with individually online because for me, kink, even in ERP, is intimate. I'm about to run to get things to get food, but after that might be fine. It's not a huge conversation. The short version of it is really just that playmates kind of exist in that sort of fuck buddy or friends with benefits kind of place. I just can't say they're friends because I don't normally write smut with friends, but they're also not partners, so I don't tend to give them quite as much time. Part of the reason I want to bring it to your attention is because I wanted to know what your boundaries were and what you were looking for from our interaction because I'm not entirely sure, actually. Part of the reason I want to bring it because I want to know what your boundaries were and what. Wait, because I'm not entirely sure. Okay, this is repeated. Okay. That makes sense. That's part of the reason I went there with a friend to establish if the vibes were right. Also because I was nervous as all hell, and this was only my third kink event and first hypno kink event I've ever attended. Unfortunately, they didn't have vegan options for my friend, which I'm kind of angry about, as was she. Yeah, the hypno crowd is really hit or miss as well. I've done some hypno, but it's really come down to whether I've enjoyed it person to person. The other thing is an important that is important to me is knowing that you are no longer just a normal viewer and both of us keeping that shit in mind. Ah, I was thinking about the same place. I like playing with you and I like talking to you. I don't expect you to give me as much time as you do your partners, but it would be nice to have the occasional conversations and for you to say something directly in if the situation changes and vice versa. Basically, don't ghost me. If I'm being too overbearing or clingy or you're uncomfortable with anything, you can tell me directly, though I don't think I will be. For me, the difference between friends, FWBs, and partners is less about the feelings I feel with them and more about the time we give each other and the potential plans for the future I might have with them, if that makes sense. Like moving in together, for example, would be something I'd plan with a partner, but not a FWB. The feeling isn't the focus for me either. It's the time dedication and logistical factors. I'm wondering what that means specifically. Do you want me to no longer watch your content? Because I'd be completely fine if that were a boundary you had, or do you want me to avoid doing certain things or something? I ask not because I'm trying to be difficult, but because I am unsure what is implied because of my autism, and I want to make sure I'm able to understand completely. No, I'm totally fine with you watching our content and interacting with stuff. I just take in consideration that you're basically something akin to a friend or potentially more than a friend. It changes the dynamic when you actually do know the content creator because it's no longer parasocial. It also means that when I on stream talk about something vague, it might be something that you have no more knowledge about that may be something that you have more knowledge about, such as something about my partners or something about myself. The big thing is that any writing we do together or any conversations we have about our personal lives, my request is to make sure those don't become public, even if our friendship ends. The other thing is just be careful when you're talking to other members of the community because you may inadvertently give up information that I have been vague about on stream. So, short version, yes, watch the content, but just be mindful. Ah, okay. You're essentially saying that you're placing more trust in me than you would a fan of your content. And for me to respect that trust, that is completely understandable and something I already felt I had a responsibility to do, but I'm glad you directly communicated it and made it explicit. As for the relationships, I don't really put them in a neat hierarchy. It m- more just a way to describe different interactions. For example, I still might want to fly out friends or one of my playmates, but the intention might be different than I would say like a partner, or it might not be depending on the situation. To me, these are all very fluid, and people who are partners can become friends, and people who are friends with benefits can become partners. I didn't know what to expect when coming into our interaction and still don't, but I like interacting with you and I like writing with you and I'd like to get to know you more. Okay, you know what? My hands are getting tired, so I'm just gonna like skip to the red boxed parts. um, Poppy says, "Well, I like to have friends come out. That come. I like to have friends come out. I would want to get Well, I like to have friends come out. I would like to get them to know you more first. Okay. Hi. Hello, Miss Phoebe. You trying to tell me something about super time? Uh, the channel is one of the ways I make friends. Okay. All right. Yep, my brain got stuck for a minute. Cause cause hold on a sec. Excuse me. All right. So, I don't know who all watching this, whether live right now or in the archive VOD, whatever the hell people call it these days. I've got a cat sitting on my knee. Um, hello. There we go. No. 2021, 22-ish, a lot of stuff was leaked about um Jimmy Snow and yeah, 2 years ago. Is Jimmy Snow's trench coat? Let's find out. So yeah, like a whole lot of shit came out about Jimmy Snow in yeah, this guy. Including the fact he was basically using his YouTube audience as his own personal dating pool. And I swear I was watching the the um yeah, Jimmy Snow, your fan base is not a dating app, so at least 2 years ago. Just like I said, I know the way that YouTube does like the fuzzy dates on here. Um it, it can be up to 2 years, 11 months and 29 days ago, right? So but I swear to God, because I know I talked with Beyond Safe Words, who's a former friend and former collaborator on Zine and Poppy's channel, who uh, who was on the episode with them where after the Jimmy Snow nonsense broke and the whole like Jimmy Snow, your audience is not an app. Um, and so I know, um, yeah, Beyond Safe Words, and I referenced that earlier this week. Um, okay, Beyond Safe Words collabs. Hey, be nice. Don't be brats. Please don't annoy each other. Oh. Okay, so let's see. Discussing healthy. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let's Okay, now I'm not gonna like let it play. I'm gonna I'm gonna look up The, I'm look, I got about half. Of course. Of course. Of course they blocked it. That's why it didn't come up in the in the full search. Yeah. All right. Hmm. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Not proud of myself for knowing about this site. Um no, not that one. Yes? What's up, Nigel? Excuse me. Yeah? Hey, hon. Hold on. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Okay, history. Yes? Yes? What's up, Nigel? Hey, hon. Yeah? Hey, baby. Right. Ah! Okay. Yeah? Okay, so of course somebody didn't archive it on Preserve Tube. I couldn't be so lucky, damn. You know, just just uh just out of curiosity. How much a month do you want for harassment? Oh? Wait, to unlock this video and more, choose a wow. Wow. Okay, no, fuck. But yeah, if somebody with more dollars than cents, yeah, get it? Dollars and cents? As in percentage of a dollar, cents? As in like $2.59, dollars and cents. If you have more dollars than cents, by all means, feel free to um throw away some good money at these two and send me a download of their of them and Beyond Safe Words talking about Jimmy Snow, because I know, in fact, Beyond Safe Words has said on Twitter that that she's been kind of horrified to realize that Poppy is engaging in all of the same shit that she found disgusting in Jimmy Snow. You know, like using her channel to make friends and find fuck partners. Oh crap. I keep forgetting to move the thing around. But yeah, look at this. Look at this. To access these videos, their members only videos, you gotta cough up 25 bucks a month. That is like, I'm sorry. No, like I I know you two are trying to do some damage control right now, but sustainable thing for you guys. I mean that like colloquially. I'm like that is, it's just no. Poppyans are not as yeah, yeah, yeah. What did Jimmy Snow? Yeah, Jimmy Snow very infamously was outed like his own parties partners, and um he was doing a lot of sexting with his fans, and Beyond Safe Words went on Xena and Poppy's stream about how what a gross abuse of power that was. And the whole time, even, saying a lot of the stuff that, was like the first one to point out just like how gross and manipulative that is and what an abuse of power that is. And I know Beyond Safe Words has since said on Twitter that she's absolutely horrified and disgusted that Poppy is doing the same that when Jimmy Snow was doing this, and Beyond Words was on the was on the show. So like when Beyond Safe Words went on, and to talk about, that's a disgusting abuse of power that Jimmy Snow's doing by fucking his fans. And so what's Poppy doing now? She's in the Disney with her fans. Oh yeah, this is how I make friends. Is the channel the channel is how I make the channel is one of the ways that I make friends. And of course, by the direction this conversation with a now friend, once fan, is going, is that this is also how she finds her fuck buddies. Like, that's clearly the implication of this conversation, is that she uses the channel to make friends and find fuck buddies. Or rather, sexual conquests, as we learned from Veer's Twitter posts that I read off last night. But yeah, if anybody watching right now, like while live or the archive VOD later, if any of you want to go, like, if you got more dollars than cents and you want to go download uh this video for posterity, and send me a copy so that we can go and like actually listen to like what a fucking hypocrite this woman is. I like I don't have the $25 to cough up for that shit, like not even under one of my alt YouTube logins. Yes, Nigel bud? Yes. What are you complaining about? You had dinner much later than this last night. Trust me, I was there. But yeah, the channel is one of the ways Poppy makes friends. But when Jimmy Snow does, and as we can see from much earlier in the conversation, that the only thing I ask my friends, playmates, oh yeah, yeah. As for relationships, I don't put them into neat hierarchy. It is more just as a way to describe different interactions. For example, I might fly out friends or one of my playmates, but the intention might be different than I would say like a partner, or it might be depending on the situation. To me, these are all very fluid, and people who are partners can become friends, and people who are friends with benefits can become partners. And then down here, the channel is one of the ways I make friends. But then, like, to anybody this long after the fact, if you want to cough up $25 to listen to, download, and possibly even send me a copy. Oh, July 20. Hey, day after my birthday. July 23rd, 2021. So almost 3 years ago, when you can listen to this almost 3-year-old um episode of the Xena and Poppy show, which has now become like $25 a month member only content, where you can hear Poppy say how absolutely disgusting it is that Jimmy Snow used the rules for thee, not for me, right, Poppy? That's how Poppy Land works, right? Those are the rules of the Poppycule. Rules, not for me. So, all right, the relevant bits. Pay attention to the ambiguity of this. So these are all, again, quotes from Poppy. It's not a huge conversation. The short version of it is really just that playmates kind of thing, or kind of exist in that sort of fuck buddy or friends with benefits kind of place. I can't just say they're friends because I don't normally write smut with friends, but they're also not partners, so I don't tend to give them quite as much time. Um, as for the relationships, I don't really put them in a neat hierarchy. It's more just a way to describe different interactions. For example, I still might fly out friends or one of my playmates, but the intention might be different than I would say like a partner. Or it might be, God damn it. Or it might not be, depending on the situation. To me, these are all very fluid, and people who are partners can become friends, and people who are friends with benefits can become partners. I didn't know what to expect when coming into our interaction, and I still don't, but I like interacting with you. Well, I like to have friends. Well, I like to have friends come out. I would like to get to know them to know you more first. That's some really fucky way to put it. The channel is one of the ways I make friends, which again, these categories to Poppy can be very fluid. Um, Friends can be, you know, recategorized to fuck buddies, who can be recategorized to partners, etc., etc. It changes the dynamic when you actually do know the content creator because it's no longer parasocial. Here we go. Like Galena synopsizing, just to make it clear. So, playmates, fuck buddies, and friends with benefits are all in a similar realm because they're more than friends but less than partners, so they don't get as much time. Um, Poppy likes to have friends come out and visit. Intentions during a visit with friends or playmates may be different than they would be with a partner or not. Relationships are very fluid, and people can shift between roles. Poppy makes friends through the channel, as she said before, those friends can become more than friends or visit her for a potentially more than friends experience. Poppy believes that engaging with a parasocial fan and establishing a relationships eliminates the parasocial nature of the situation. Hopefully, you can see how this can cause some issues, as well as give Poppy the freedom to say that any relationship she's in has simply shifted or changed so she can more easily discard it. This leaves the other party uncertain and Poppy as the arbiter of what they deserve in the relationship. God damn it. All right, Shane, look you. Again, if Xena, can't be part of a conversation while doing crochet or knitting at the same time, then Xena just does not do their ADHD right. Like, this is like, no, that is an extreme ADHD fail, in my opinion. It's like, if you don't want to be ignored on the channel, don't do stuff that lets people ignore you on the channel. Now, I'm not saying all people with ADHD are good at, doing something while also talking. Some are just not, but at the same time, like, if you know you're not one of those ADHDers who can talk and do X thing at the same time, maybe like put all your concentration onto being part of the channel, right? Like I'm sorry, Xena. If you feel ignored on the channel where, Poppy does like between 95 to 99% of the talking on any given stream, and you just sit there like a bump on a log doing your knitting, going only, mm-hmm, yep, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, yep, yep, I agree. I agree, Poppy, yes. I'm sorry, people are going to ignore you. That is your own fault. And you should, if you don't want to get ignored, like, again, that's like, no, no, that's on you. Anyway, hopefully you can see how this can cause some issues as well. And uh, this leaves the other party uncertain and Poppy as the sole arbiter of what they deserve in the relationship. Now let's talk about BPD for a moment, because it's a major component of Poppy's story. And of course, because I know when to pick my battles about this, I've said, excuse me, many of my strong opinions on borderline personality disorder in streams from earlier this week. Feel free to go and watch those. Like, go look up the, like, do the transcript option that I showed that I showed from other people's videos in this stream myself, or while I was streaming tonight myself. So yeah, I just like go to the transcript option and look up like BPD or borderline, like for the first time I referenced that, and just like, you know, scan along to see like where I go into my strong opinions about it. Because and one of these days I should like maybe like edit some of that into like an uploadable segment, but I don't know. Like I said, for right now, I'm still trying to get shit unpacked and replace a few of the things that I need to have replaced, etc., etc. Anyway, okay, Poppy on BPD. So, just for the sake of brevity, I've already said my strong feelings. I've even said some of them earlier in this stream alone. Here's what Poppy publicly says she specializes in as recently as last month. So this document dropped like less than 2 weeks ago, if I recall correctly. So as recently as February 2024, let's keep this in mind. Zane and Poppy's foundation, fup around and find out arc. At Zane and Poppy. Hi, clinician specializing in ADHD, BPD, and DID/OSDD, who is diagnosed with all three, OSDD in her case. And yet she's also said the diagnosis was DID. Wait a second. Oh, Jesus Christ. So she can't even keep her dissociative disorder straight, huh? Okay. Okay, that just makes me feel a little bit more suspicious about her alleged diagnosis with dissociative disorder now. Okay. So Julia Isobella it on Twitter, it's views like this that lead me to talking about schizoaffective disorder as a med student. There are people with SMI demanding professions who thrive, although sure, it's not possible for everyone. Somebody says that's what schizophrenia is. Maybe it's best to not have people with that condition have jobs like a lawyer or doctor. No. Okay. All right. Okay, Poppy frames herself as an expert and safe space for people with BPD, especially because she herself lives with it. This leads to a lot of people with BPD gravitating towards her and buys her extra trust. Wait, hold on. In dietary bedwar pimp with yeah, in dietary pedwar pimp with now. All right. Okay. Poppy frames herself as an expert and safe space for people with BPD. Especially because she herself lives with it. This leads to a lot of people with BPD gravitating towards her and buys her extra trust at the ground level. It was a big part of how we initially got close to each other. But the way Poppy talks about BPD is honestly horrifying. Excuse me. Poppy portrays it as an untreatable barrage of endless suffering and triggers. This is incredibly doomer-minded, and it's troubling to think of how this rhetoric might affect someone who's been officially diagnosed, especially if it's a recent diagnosis. L'enfant diabolique, it always comes back to this. Unorthodox. I wonder how often I would have. I often wonder who I would have been without my BPD, who I would have been without the emotional dysregulation, intrusive thoughts, anxiety, trauma, intense fear of abandonment, impulsivity, suicidal thoughts. Oh, wow, this all sounds like diagnostic criteria for CPTSD, too. Suicidal thoughts. Maybe I could have been someone worth loving. December 24th, 2023. Poppy posts like this from her are not uncommon. Uh, at Zane and Poppy on Twitter. No one knew that this fully having been sent dozens of articles on BPD. We had numerous conversations about the nature of BPD despite her lying on timeline and claiming she didn't know shit about it. Articles on favorite people, types of BPD, and fact. Not to mention stuff about me. Oh, there's always going to be stuff about you in every conversation, even vaguely related to anything you've decided today that you are an expert on, huh, Poppy? All right. Oh, yeah, and this stuff that I looked up, that I looked at in January. Um, hey, yeah, February 7th, 2024. In her eyes, it's not weird to send dozens of articles to someone about her mental illness as a prerequisite to their relationship. It's the other person's fault for not putting up with her unregulated abuse. This also lines up with their minimization of my testimony, even as recently as a couple of months ago. Poppy and progressiveness. Oh dear. Let's go over what Poppy has told us about herself and how she views and approaches her own. Oh, Poppy and possessiveness. Oh God, I'm sorry. Poppy and possessiveness. Oh, there should be a section on Poppy and progressiveness. Anyway, um, 8/30/2022. Okay, 30th of August 2022. Possessiveness as a kink. Poppy's desire to push possessiveness as something she has a right to explore has been a thing for a long time. Um, uh, uh, Twitter, Lady Diabolique. I am pretty sure one aspect of me being in Dom mode is the desire for possession of the other. While possessiveness is frowned upon in poly, some level is expected with Doms. But for me, it seems like something that is potentially a central aspect of when I switch to Dom. Um. What? Okay, honey, I'm a dominant bottom, and um, no, possessiveness is not really expected with doms. Like, I know Poppy's been like, trying to buddy up with Evie Lupine lately, but no, that is like I see it on Twitter. Like she's trying to like buddy up to Evie Lupine on Twitter for reasons I cannot even begin to imagine, other than just like trying to hopefully find somebody who's not as familiar with her shit, but who's also got a bigger name than her, like bigger name recognition. And whoa. Holy shit, do I see a 9 there? Holy shit. Last night, the Poppy and Xena literally has like times, but now it's I just noticed that. But yeah, I think she did a video on dominant bottoms. If not, she should. Addressing topping from the bottom, warning signs and dangers. What? Okay. Submissive slave or bottom. What's the difference? That might be something. Sub V bottom versus and Dom V top. Okay, yeah. Well, she's got a couple. Whoa, that one's 7 years. That one's 5 years. Okay, but yeah, I mean, she's done a few videos about how like Dom. She's done a lot of videos on like Dom V sub kind of stuff, and no, like she's always pretty clear that like possessiveness is not inherent to like Dom space, like the Dom head space or whatever, depending on stuff, on like somebody's relationship to that aspect of kink and whatnot. Anyway, some of you who have been in kink communities and spaces may immediately see the red flags. Hell, some of you who are completely unfamiliar with those spaces may still see them. Oh yeah, I just brought that up myself. Goddamn. Melina's doc is like a step ahead of me. Or I'm a step ahead of reading the doc. Whatever. Something like that. Whatever. Poppy discusses polyamory on her stream. Clip link. 11:46. 11 minutes 46 seconds. Relationship anarchy and rules via agreements. 12 minutes 30 seconds. Jealousy and mine. 11 minutes 5 seconds. Does that play well with Polly? Oh my gosh. Discusses polyamory. Ah. No. The hell? Ah, for fuck's sake. Okay. Find on page. Okay. Uh, um, 23rd September 2023. New Metamor. Finding love or love finding about a new Metamor at 3 a.m. Okay. So what? 25th October 2023. Checking the likes. No flake. My precious blind son. He sleeps with me every single night. Oh, little baby. Little orange cat baby. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Do I want to jump to that Twitter clip I posted? I think I do. I think I do. Let's just take an orange. Let's just take an orange cat break. Um. Okay, so let's just go quick to my. Um. No. 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 Oh. Oh! Somebody let the baby out of jail. Oh, hurts. Oh, if you watch this one long enough, you find a third one will come out from the pillows. No, no. Okay, come on. I know it was a. Oh, that's funny. No, that's not the one I was thinking of. Oh, come on. There was a. I posted. I like. I retweeted somebody's orange cat having a moment. Come on, there was an orange cat having an orange cat moment. I retweeted. Seriously? cat on the back of a chair, having a moment. No, no. Medium, maybe? Come on. There he is. Yeah, I did retweet. Oh, I love that little guy. He's so great. I didn't even know that cat, but he's great. Ah! Oh my gosh. All right, so Snowflake, my precious blind son, sleeps with me every single and as he should. As he should. That is your child. Oh, for fuck's sake. Ah, Papa Diabolique, I really shouldn't look through the likes. What the hell? This is literally you trying to traumatize yourself. Which, like, we're being loose with the term traumatize here. Liked by people. Oh, looking through likes on Haley's posts for things that would upset her. Poppy interjects. Amy, philosophically, I love spiders. They're wonderful creatures and not always dangerous to humans. Can be cute pets. Technically, tarantulas are not true spiders, but that's another story for another time. However, there's a deep fear rooted in the marrow of my bones, and it wants to flee the country when I see a big one in person. Snowflake, I will hold them and carry them away for you. Amy, hee hee hee. Oddly, the only time I'm fine with them is when someone else is terrified of them because one of us has to be useful. Good to know I won't have to be. Little teehee face. Snowflake, I love spiders, lol. Amy, oh, I know, you weren't the reason for this post, but you did come to mind, LMAO. Okay, so we've got people being cute and dorky. I think they call this adorkable. I think that kind of like summarizes Zoe Deschanel's entire career. Snowflake, I always come to mind, but good to know. LOL. Amy, you do come to mind quite a lot. Again, like just being flirty and goofy. Poppy, huh? Amy, oh, like think of her a lot. Okay. Poppy, no, I shouldn't interact with you. Oh, for fuck's sake. Love getting a panic attack by running into a metamor. Um, which is your own fault. Like, you went out looking for this. You went out looking for conversations and stuff that you knew would upset you. Um, uh, Poppy wise, I have very real trauma around interactions with metamors. Being loose with the term trauma, but okay. Today did not make that better. I worked my ass off to fix a situation, and the other partner acts like a child. Bridge burned. What? Hun, I understand. Sorry, don't want to be accused of being transmisogynist. That's just I'm an old queen. That's just like my default phrasing. Lady, you are the one acting like a child here, lady. That just like no, no, no. You did not have to have that interaction because you went out looking for it. Okay. Um, 26th of November, 2023. Poppy competes with Amy. Okay, Amy. Let's read this side first. Okay. Snowflake, big fucking same. Quote tweets. Ms. Mousy, why aren't my... Okay, we're talking about okay. About testicular appendages. Amy, we'll work on it. Snowflake, Ayo? And of course, Poppy has to jump in. Already got it covered. Amy, oh, I see. I mean, I have no complaints. I assumed you wouldn't. I am having mine sometime in May. I sent pics to let you see her work. She also did my vaginoplasty with Dr. Shakir, and that went swimmingly. Okay. Nobody cares. League. It helps being a therapist who does gender affirming care and having lots of resources. If I have my way, I'm going to get our girl FFS, BA, and SRS. Okay. You know what? It's not your body. You don't get to have your way. Even if the relationship, even if you did not tank the relationship yourself by acting all crazy, Snowflake's body is not yours. You don't get your way. She gets her way, and if the two of you happen to be in agreement with that, hypothetically, if the relationship did not implode, if you agree with her getting her way, then all the better, but you don't get your way. It's not your body. Snowflake, I love both of you, and you're both dorks. All right, yeah, Snowflake is clearly just trying to defuse the situation because she can tell that Poppy is acting like a complete twat. And Amy is just being Amy, I guess. Amy, love you too, baby. Poppy. L'Enfant d'Oblique is just like very fitting nickname right here. L'Enfant d'Oblique, making my mate hotter, one visit at a time. Amy, what a coincidence. It seems like it'll also impact my girlfriend. Poppy, you're welcome. Oh, and of course, yeah, like Snowflake just being someone with a sensor deck replying to Snowflake and Poppy. Love you too, baby. Poppy replying with the oh wait, this is Amy, but I guess okay, I guess somebody else's screens. Okay. All right, Poppy replying to the thing. Well, baby is no longer a safe pet name. Fuck. Oh, shut the hell up. That has literally been like one of, if not the most common pet name for one's partner for literally a century. It baby/babe as a term of endearment between adult partners of a certain type first came into prominent usage in like 1926, was like the mid 1920s was when it was like first, like, is as far back as we can see it on record used in that way. So no, it's been literally a century, and if you can't handle your your partner's partner using that as a pet name for your mutual partner, then that's a you problem. This is Poppy immediately developing a trigger with one of the most common pet names in the world because she saw her partner use it with a metamor. Oh, God. Amy and Poppy replying, I love you too, and mine. Um, no, shut up. 26th of December, 2023. So just after the breakup with No Flake, dogs can only have one owner. Mid meltdown about Haley. Oh god, yeah. She caught another play partner being happy about something with another partner. Oh, for fuck's sake. Seriously? Puppy gonna get a cage? I don't get this puppy girl thing. I don't. I mean, I kind of get the cat boy thing because, um, it's like kind of a response to the the mid knots having this kind of like obsession with anime cat girls. So now so like cat boys was kind of like began as a sarcastic response to that. In fact, the first time I remember seeing the phrase cat boy, like in English language media was was in a comic, web comic. Um, something positive. Archive must include Catboy. Seriously? Yeah, I hit Control F, but you don't want to. Seriously? Something positive. Archive. Um, okay, archive. Find on page. Oh shit. All right, we're gonna have to go back. I want to say it was definitely after this one, sometime this year or later. So, find on page. Okay, no. Not OT3. Okay. Wait, no, that's not what I hit. Ah, Jesus Christ. This is gonna drive me nuts. This is what I get for being old. No, it's not gonna be that one. But we only see the word cat once. All right, 20-5. 20-5. Please. Seriously. All right. Okay, okay. Please. Is this shit for real right now? Okay, no name. Spain. Some positive. Randy Milholland. Okay, so this is the first time I ever saw the term Catboy. What the hell? Please. I like your comic, but you should give the Catgirl character um um Detesta more time. Oh, make her the and hero fall in love, and he can turn into getting you a cage. Censor dict. Uh getting but I'd like over there with you too. Uh Poppy. Oblique. Dogs can only have one owner. Censor Dick. Well, that's not true. Puppy. That is absolute. Uh, no, it's not. I don't share. This person was not Poppy's partner at the time this thread was made. A couple of weeks later, Poppy announced that the two of them had started dating. Okay. Well, yeah, that sounds healthy. Not. Censor Dick, make sure you say happy birthday to my lovely cutie. Censor Dick, it's my birthday, bitches. She, her, taken, your local vampire. Oh, beer. YouTuber, a little bitey, a little flirty, a little unhinged, and a whole lot. Okay. Don't worry, it gets worse. Oh dear. Let's get to Haley. Okay. Oh shit. It's 5 after 2, and I said this was the latest I was going tonight because the cats want their dinner. And they want it earlier than they got it last night. So um